Hey guys, so today I'm making a video to wrap up Booktube-A-Thon, which was last week. I'd say it was successful. I didn't read 7 books. I only read 5.2. But I would say it was pretty successful because if it weren't for Booktube-A-Thon, I probably would have read 1. So I'd say I'm pretty good. So here is what I read. So the first book I read was The Queen of the Tearling. And I would say that is now one of my favorite books. It was so good. So good. Go read it. So it's about this girl named Kelsey, I think, and she is the queen, or like she's supposed to be the queen. And her mother died when she was like really young, and before her mom died, I believe, she was sent away to live with like foster parents, and just to keep her out of harm's way and away from the castle and so out of danger. And they raised her to be really smart and to read. The story picks up right as they're taking her into the keep, which is like their castle, and she has to complete this journey to get there to become queen. And it was honestly so good. I would definitely rate it 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. Probably one of my new favorite books. I can't wait to read the second one. I just have to get my hands on a copy of it, and I'm gonna dive right in. The next book I read, or the next books, I guess, and these are the last books I read, because I read a series, and that was the Selection series. So the first book was The Selection, and I loved these books too. I kind of had like a princess, queen theme, castle theme, I guess. I jumped in not really knowing what it was about that much. Like, I knew the gist of it, that it was like a competition to be the princess, but I didn't expect myself to fall in love with it so much. Like, I literally threw the rest of my TBR out the window to finish these books. It was so good. So the story starts off following America, and so it takes place in the future, and they have like these different like classes almost, and it's like by numbers. So 1 is like royal and 7 is like the servants. So America's a 5. The prince is now like of age to find a wife. So like when this happens in this kingdom, they hold this competition called the Selection, and any eligible girl around like the right age is allowed to enter this big lottery. Yeah, couldn't remember that. One girl from each little province gets picked, and America was one of those girls, and she kind of didn't enter it so like willingly. I mean, I guess she did because it was making like the people around her happy, and that's the only reason she really entered. But like at the same time, she didn't want to be in the competition. She's like, oh, I'll enter this just to make people happy. Like, it doesn't really, I'm never gonna get picked, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just do this to make people happy. And she ends up getting picked. I mean, that's kind of right away. I mean, you kind of have to guess by the title of the story that happens. And it's just like, it's just such a good story. Like, I like fall in love with it instantly. Like, I was just drawn in, and I was like fangirling through the whole thing, and it was just really good. I would definitely recommend it. So I also read the second book, The Elite, the third book, The One, and the fourth book, The Heir. And the Elite and The One just follow the same storyline as the first book, but the fourth one kind of takes place like even later, and it's the new princess. And there's a bunch more rebellions going on. And I feel like I can tell you this because it doesn't really affect the rest of the story. But there's a bunch more rebellions, and so the new princess, they're holding a selection for her just to distract the people. I don't think the fourth one is as good as the first 3. I think she should have stuck with this series being a trilogy. But I think like I'm really satisfied because I love the story so much that there is a third one. So I'm happy. But I don't think the main character is as relatable. Edelyn, I don't know how to say her name. And she's just kind of like spoiled. And I mean, I hate saying that because like I love her at the same time, just because of like, I don't want to say anything that spoils anyone. So those are all the books I read. And then the point 2, I started reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, And I'm still reading that, so like it's not like I'm gonna stop, but I have camp all week this week and school starts next week, so I'm gonna try to get as much reading in as I can, but it's probably not gonna be too great, so I just have to cross my fingers on that one. So that was the Booktube-A-Thon. I was really excited about participating again this year. I did last year too, and I cannot wait for next year already. So I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye!